So this is a quick video explaining these miners that I've been building lately and how to do it if you want to do it. But basically, I'm just taking an S9 and removing the stock fans and using these inline duct fans from AC Infinity that you can get on Amazon. And the result has been pretty good. I've got mine in my living room and it's probably 42 decibels. And with the brains dynamic power scaling, they'll just scale down if they get too hot, so there's no concern over that. So if for whatever reason you want the sound to go down, you just turn the fan down and the mine scales down with it. So the next thing we need to do is just make sure you have all the stuff. So you just need one of these AC Infinity S9 fans, and you need the two 3D printed parts with the STL files will be linked in the description. And if you've got all that, the installation is really easy. You just need to make sure you've got Brains OS on your S9, and go through and get dynamic power scaling. I have another video showing how to set that up. So watch that video, get it set up, run the miner with the stock fans, let it auto-tune, which take a few hours. And then once you're done with that, you can just turn the miner off, take the fans off, and put all this stuff on, which I'll show right here. Okay, so assembly on this thing. I've got this shroud that's printed here to fit these S9 fans, and they're just pressure fit in here. This one was printed a little bit small, so I had to wrap some tape around it. But they just slide right in like this and slide right out. So super easy. And then with the shroud, you just remove all 4 screws, and you actually remove that little metal plate that goes in there as well. And this is just gonna cover, you're just gonna use the same stock screws again to mount the flange. As far as mounting the PSU, I have a tiny screw run in here that was actually one of these screws that I had left over from maybe I just left one out of the bottom. But you gotta be very, very careful with those if you're gonna mount it with screws, because there's not a lot of room. You can see that one coming through, but you can easily, if you're not careful, you can hit those heat fins and cause problems. And then on the bottom, it's the same deal. You just print this housing off and take that metal part off, and it just mounts with 4 screws. The only issue with this miner so far is that it does collect a fair amount of lint. This has been about a week or so. Okay, I wanted to mention a few other things to consider when you're doing this. If you're running on 110 volts, which most people probably will be, just make sure the cord that's powering your miner is heavy enough gauge to handle the miner. A lot of times those cords are really thin and they get really hot. And then the PSU, as far as mounting that to the side of the miner, you don't have to use a screw. You can use, you probably just use a zip tie or some wire. I mean, the screw is a nice way to do it, but if you don't have a drill or whatever. And then when on startup, just make sure to turn the fan on before you turn the miner on, just so you've got cold air flowing through that thing. The fan takes a second to get going. So this is my current setup. I've got this one tuned down to 1,000 watts because it's that's about the amount of heat that I need in the space that the miner's in. But I'm doing this video about 3 feet away from the miner, and it's maybe, I think I just checked, it was like 37, 38 decibels. So pretty good. It's pretty tolerable to be around, even right around it. But if I wanted to go up higher in wattage, because I'm only getting 12 and a half plus maybe terahash, if I wanted to go higher, I could. I've still got 9 degrees Celsius I can go up before I trip a power scaling event. So I could easily probably go up another 200 watts or something, and then I'd probably have 14 terahash or 13 and a half or something. So